Welcome to the winner bracket final. We are at the RavenCourt. Garden of Terror is our first map in the best of 5, and we got the Raiders up against the Exodia stack. So, time to rock and roll. Took us a little bit of time to get the game going because apparently Ultralisk was quite late, and the same goes for Bishops. So the teams were already joking about either playing a 4v4 or with a sub. Apparently Cure is on the ready if anybody needs a sub today. But both of them appeared. Not quite sure what's going on with Ultralisk, if he's maybe a little bit hungover from yesterday and went out partying, or if he just missed the bus, no clue. But I guess later on we might find out. So Garden of Terror kicks us off with the best of 5, and we're starting things with a ban on Hanzo. So straight up against Bishops. We've already seen, obviously, in yesterday's matches that was being played a lot. Maiev gets banned out too. Again, you can contrast a lot of what's being picked and banned here with what we've seen in the Korean and the North American tournament. For everybody that hasn't watched those, if you want to catch up on them and see, for example, the Asian meta with the Koreans and the Chinese team that participate in the tournament play, then you can find all of the playlists on YouTube. So yeah, just go to playlists, check them out on the YouTube channel. And all of that should be in order. If there's any problems with it, please let me know and I'll fix it. But all of the games should be in there. We had a tournament on North America where we have slight changes in meta compared to what's happening in Europe. But especially when you're looking over to Korea, there's a lot of different stuff happening. Chen, main tank, some crazy triple healer setups and other things. So yeah, not really what you're seeing in Europe. As we're talking also about meta and about picks and bans, a quick reminder that this is an absolute vanilla tournament, so there's no draft restrictions for the teams as we proceed through the series. Just as a bit of a side note, so that you're not getting confused as we're progressing through the match. And we get Blaze as an early pick. So Sven locks that in immediately here in Garden of Terror. Big map, obviously. And I also want to highlight that this is a bit of a deviation away from what we've seen over the past couple of months, where specifically Hogger was oftentimes either ban or first pick worthy on Garden of Terror. So them going into Blaze is already going slightly away from that. Blaze obviously was always very, very strong and an immensely powerful pick. Sylvanas now taken. And that also comes simply because Sylvanas was previously banned in most games that we had in the tournament here. So now that she's open, they're coming in with Sylvanas immediately and saying like, alright, we're going to grab her now. Leads us into Diablo. We did Genji together with it too. And with Chromie banned, Sergeant Hammer is now also going to get the axe. There is obviously still a chance that they are going into Anduin now. With Hammer being banned, Anduin is open, so you could go into a Genji Anduin combo with a Light Bomb engage. Chromie banned against Nano specifically, so they're trying to make sure that he doesn't get the pick. And Johanna gets annihilated as well, which still leaves Hogger open. So if you want to go into side lane Hogger and use him to get the mercenary camps on Garden of Terror, you could still do that from the perspective of Exodia stack. So if Dino and his boys want to use that option, they definitely still can. And it would be a strong one for the macro play on the map. We still have globals open too, so you can rely on the Haka, you can rely on Falstad if you just want to play for the size. And actually, they start things with the Haka. Get Varian on top of that, so we already have now 2 CCs, plus Brightwing on top of that with a Poly, that they can start chaining. And that is a pretty aggressive draft, and something that can absolutely destroy essentially any hero that gets hit by it. So Benny on one of his staples, after his longer hiatus in tournaments, here we now have him on Varian, and with that he can again go through Taunt. We still get some globals, Falstad from Ultralisk now, and Rhaegar as their support. So no combo with Anduin, instead they're going for Rhaegar, who also can supply them with a lightning shield whenever they're trying to go for a camp clear. So with the mercenaries, it's definitely going to help them out quite a lot, that they can use him to just accelerate the process there. Whereas that leads us to our final pick for game number 1 in the best of 5, which is of course then now for Bishops. I assume that Sylvanas will still be played by Dino and they're not swapping the hero over. But the final choice, Garden of Terror, and we're going into Imperius. So triple frontline, even more CC now for the red team. With that, stage is set. Let's go. Game number 1 here in the winner bracket final between the Exodia stack and the Raiders. Raiders against the Exodia stack, game number 1, Garden of Terror, and on the left in blue we get Sven on Blaze, we have Nano this time on Genji, his Chromie was denied to him, Death Knight on Rhaegar, Skog is playing Diablo, and Ultralisk is playing Falstad Over on the right side, Dino is expected is still on Sylvana, so he didn't swap that over. We have Yasuo and Brightwing for Exodia stack. We see Benny on Varian, Copenhagen is playing Dehaka, and Bishops is rocking Imperius for the first game of the best of 5 series here in the winner bracket final. Totem build for Rhaegar as we're slowly starting to go towards the top, so it's essentially the same play that we oftentimes see with any Sylvanas combo. You're trying to get a tower out of the picture as quickly as you can, and they are making an immediate move for the top side. The reaction of the blue team, of course, is to try and rotate heroes over, but that also means that Diablo runs straight into the first CC chain here and loses half of his hit points. So, bit of structural damage done. Also, damage against Ultralis, threatening Diablo's life a bit. Not off to a bad start here. Exodia stack with another quick jump as they're starting to go for Nano. And Genji's a bit low, wants to kill on Dino though. And they get it! Sylvana's the first one to fall. Falset with the final hit as they came in and took the kill. Sylvana's down, now the play for Genji, but instead it's Varian that falls. The blue team with a double kill, opening up the game with a bang here. Initially the pressure from Exodia stack as the red team was trying to not only go for structures but also a few traps against the incoming heroes. Now the double kill against them. So very nice reaction and answer that we got from the Raiders. Real sweet play. Now they just have to build on it against the 3 frontliners that we have. And Bishops and his boys are now also starting, of course, to go for the camps. We see the same thing happening on the side of their opponents over towards the left. But I think they're going to be pretty happy with how things started up here. So, nicely done. Camps are now being claimed by both of the teams. No shocking surprises there. With the first Siege Giant camp all the way up at the map. Bishops is now starting to respond to it and try to push that back. But really nicely done. 2 kills to 0, level 4 talents are kicking in. That's obviously where especially Varian becomes a lot more dangerous. And once that Varian can go for his point and click, engage and taunt, then you will always be able to follow up with either a Dehaka Tong or a lunge from Imperius and get that CC chain going. So I would expect that Exodia stack is now starting to roam the map a little bit in an attempt to get those kills. You can see Ultralis immediately responding. They are missing several heroes on the map. They don't know where they are. So what he does with Vision is he doesn't really want to move out too much and just stays back as much as he can. Varian is still sitting here at the side, but since they don't have any vision, they don't know where he is. Everybody is playing it a bit more careful and is not going out too deep, except for Diablo in this case on lane, but they won't be able to take him down all that easily anyways. So, job well done in the early game, at least by them, but all eyes now on the red team as they're trying to go down to the bot lane to damage Sven. That didn't quite happen. Bit of an attack happening in the middle. There's the taunt after the lunge and impale. But Skog is still easily able to move out. Rhaegar is also nearby and can always help, of course, in that situation. At the top, we have the 2 globals now fighting against each other. Copenhagen trying to go for the drag, but misses it. And with the positioning of the first seed over to the left side, the blue team is favored for the first objective. Nice jet propulsion connect against Benny. So gotta be careful. Taunt is up. Diablo looking for a target. Finds Brightwing. They're going for Yasuo. And there's the taunt, but Brightwing still falls. Nice engage from Bishops. From the top, on the other hand, he gets a triple stun. Falset is moving in. Crashers Dino and gets the kill. It's a triple. They might even go. They go for the quad kill. 4 heroes down. Utter disaster now for Exodia stack as they're getting totally murdered at the bottom of the map. The full 5-man of the blue team is now ready. And boy, what a brutal fight there. Look at this. Brightwing was the first one to fall. Falset goes onto Sylvanas and Varian dies at the same time. 4 heroes dead. That's 6 kills to 0 now in total. And they are heavily pressuring the fort at the bottom of the map. 4 minutes into the game and they nearly destroyed the first fort. Obviously they picked up the seed, but that was a big blow to the red team in the first game of this best of 5. Fantastic opening here from them. So Dino at the top trying to get value with Sylvanas, continues to push. Nano's a bit low, does not have the cooldown ready, is still trying to poke and is not retreating so far. Picks up the experience for the team, but the rest is now moving over. So we have Diablo He was just hoping that Sylvanas would jump on that wave. Obviously, that wouldn't happen there. But Skog, when he saw that, was just like, oh yeah, please do it. Please press the button and jump straight in front of me. 6 kills to 0 leads now to a half-level advantage for the blue team, which would propel them towards level 10 a little bit faster. We now have at the bottom of the map Falstad just taking over, and everybody's just checking bushes. With vision not really being there, I mean, you can see it from their perspective. They don't have anything. They know that the Haka's at the bottom of the map, but that is about it. So right now, they have to be careful. Rhaegar's just sitting tight, and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do anything here. I don't know where Varian is. Now they actually see him move it down to the bottom. But in a situation like this, he knows that he's a prime target. So Rhaegar is playing this incredibly safe. And they know that the easiest way for the red team to get back into the game is them getting kills. Heroic abilities are now slowly starting to kick in. Still a play with vision for the Exodia stack. Falstad can of course fly to the top. Not gonna walk there. And both teams now with heroic abilities, as the red team has also grabbed their level 10s. They are starting to go for the second seed. And this is actually one that could be fought for. So Death Knight is barely not getting the interrupt. Nice move though with the mind control, but nothing that leads to a kill. They're trying to go for Diablo though, and the Ancestral gets thrown out right away. There's still the ult from Imperius, and Diablo drops the Apocalypse and continues to die. He's gone, but he will be back. At the stacks, Sylvanas falls. She's going to be down for the entire death time. And they are moving in for a potential second kill. Brightwing is the next target. Jumps out, but the fight is not over by any means. The Haka also in Drado gets stunned out again. Starting to drop low. Rhaegar on the run. Genji there. Diablo is coming in. Here comes Varian again, looking for another opportunity to engage into the fight and set up the next target. The channel happening from Sven now in the back as the 5-man of the blue team is trying to win the battle here. Bishops moving in, interrupts the channel, but gets stunned out a second later by Blaze, who continues to channel again as Ultralis is getting attacked and might even be killed here. Falstad falls. The Seed has been channeled on the other hand, and the blue team just trying to escape here with the heroes that they still have in the game. Diablo, on the other hand, becomes the target once more. Likely gonna fall. Same goes for Blaze. Both of them die. And Genji is also yet strikes away, and he still dies. 20 hit points towards the end. Oh boy. Nice attempt here, but too many heroes gone now on the blue team. In total, 5 have fallen. Diablo twice even. And that, of course, is costly. Yes, the Seed was given up. But now, with all that they lost here, it's 7 kills to 5. The lead in experience goes to the red team. So one big fight has turned the game on its head again. The Haga is down at the bottom of the map. But what a brawl! I mean, they really went for it. An insane brawl happening right there, as all of them went full bananas on that second seed. And, well, it is an advantage on the objective for the Raiders still, but obviously they suffered a lot of loss. If you take a look at the experience here, the gap is pretty severe. I mean, the red team is ahead in hero experience, despite the fact that they have less kills, just simply because the heroes they killed were much higher level and therefore grant more experience. So level 13 soon gonna kick in for them. Minion experience is also another area where the Exodia stack currently shines. At the bottom of the map, the Haka still defending that fort that was looking... I mean, it really looked like this would be the first one to fall in the game, but they weren't able to quite take it down. So the Haka currently still defending here. Falstad is now sitting up the top, and they're escorting another minion wave through. Bot side, there's still a bit of a trap being set here by the blue team, but I don't think that anybody is really going to fall for it. They now have vision in the mid lane too, thanks to the minion wave. So the red team is rotating over in plain sight. But with level 13 talents available for both teams, we are going to see even fights once again. The seed position, on the other hand, is very, very good again for the blue team. So much better position for them. They can always go towards the middle and then tap the fountain here real quickly. The red team is already setting up, so the Exodia stack is slowly making their way over. The Haka is staying at the bot lane a bit longer and can always global in. Falstad has already joined the blue team. The one that is a bit late to the party is going to be Sven, and Blaze has to move now, which allows the Haka to push out another lane and escort his own minion wave in. But while they are taking the camp, the Seed is now about to be attacked, and I guess Varian can at least try and go for an interrupt, but they are just accepting that they're gonna I was about to say get cursed. But even on Tomb of the Garden curse, we're now having the Garden Terrors. So, Terror time! That's the moment where they have to see how much damage they can do with these bad boys. Still game number 1, everybody. The lead in experience on the side of Exodia stack. But here's the opportunity to at least take a few forts out. The one at the bottom, I don't even know why they're pushing for that. That one's gonna fall for sure. 100%. It's more of a question what they can do on the rest of the map. What they can do at the top, what they can do in the middle. If they can take an additional fort out or not. We're very early in the game, so despite the fact that the blue team just picked up Garden Terrors, these guys are not that powerful just yet. So the attack over on the left side happening. Genji jumping in again. Bit of damage already done at the fort. APOC combo. Jet propulsion follow-up. Benny locked out and is still able to get away here. That was really dangerous for him though. He was in real trouble there for some time, but is able to escape. Bishops is now also trying to get out of the fight and does. At the top, the fort has taken significant damage, and at the bottom of the map, the wall has essentially been taken out. The gate is gone, some of the towers are taking damage. In the middle, fort is not quite claimed yet, but up at the top, they made sure that they take the major structure out. So level 16 is going to be ready in a second. And there's the follow-up on the initial stun. Immediately the Ancestral. The fight, not a good one for the blue team. They're lacking the level 16 talent. That's going to be bad news for them. Sven realizes that he won't make it, but mind control against Skog, and that's a follow-up kill on Diablo after Blaze has already been eliminated. 7 kills to 7. 27,000 damage now from the hands of Sylvanas. Same amount of damage that we see from Genji, but a huge difference in siege damage between the two heroes as they're now moving into the middle of the map to potentially take out another fort. Very nice game control now from Exodia's deck. They dealt well with the Garden Terrors that were claimed by the Raiders. The blue team has done better on the objective thus far, but the first objective they got did give them, I want to say, 1.5 forts. Bit of damage at one of the key walls, but they're still behind in experience by more than a level right now, and things are starting to get quite dangerous for the blue team. They gotta be careful with this. Next seed already spawning, so now an opportunity with level 16 talents on both sides, which of course means that we have for now also a big chance for the red team to finally get themselves another seed. So far they have only one throughout the entire game that we're able to lock in, so they're hoping to get more and work towards their first objective. Sylvana's mind control, by the way, has already netted them multiple kills, so that was pretty successful. Ultralisk at the top, just taking the siege giants out as quickly as he can after the Haka took them. So Ultralisk is never really trying to fight for it. Varian with a taunt against Genji. Nice damage, nothing too insane. Hoping, of course, for a follow-up, but that wasn't quite there. So they're anchoring the play around the seed now, trying to ensure that they can grab that one easily, which they will be able to go for. Yeah, oh, Diablo, nice engage against Varian. APOC, good connects. Yasuo is still alive, so is Varian. There's the kill. Genji gets 1 kill, and he should get a second. Benny goes down. That's a triple in total. 3 heroes dead, and Genji made it out of the fight. Nice. Job well done. So with that, I mean, look at this. Genji was actually in a bit of trouble after he got taunted there. He was himself also very, very low in HP. But now they're getting kill after kill here, 3 kills in total, and they denied the seed to the Exodia stack. So they picked up their 4th seed in total, and denying it to the red team also meant that there's less pressure now against them. 10 kills to 10 kills to 7. Still pressure towards the middle of the map where they can hope to destroy the fort. Maybe not quite yet, but they're gonna work on that. Maybe even a kill. Damn, that's a nice wall stun against Bishops, but he already had the heal. Uses his ult, misses the connect. They are getting a double connect on Genji on the other hand, but the shield is in and Nano is not really in trouble here. But still a very nice combo that we saw from the red team. Now Brightwing is coming in, Diablo attempting to push out, gets licked, and thanks to the Gust of Falset, they can easily disengage here. Now at the bottom of the map, the wall has by now been completely destroyed, and we also have a catapult on the keep directly. So the Haka needs to deal with this and already has moved down to the bottom of the map to take care of things. We have another seed now spawning, and the position of this one is much better on the right side. So for the Exodia stack, this is quite advantageous. I'm not sure how willing the blue team is to really fight for it. There's also still the problem that there is a tiny gap in experience for Exodia stack. Shouldn't be a big window, but you're probably going to be uncomfortable fighting a battle here that could be drawn out and eventually give your opponent a level 20 advantage, which in a team fight can of course make all the difference. So they are giving up the seed. They're absolutely happy to just play for the next one when both teams are going to have their Storm talents. So it's not going to be an issue there. Still a camp at the top that has to be dealt with. I would assume that Falstad is going to make a move over for it. We got now 38,000 damage from Genji, top damage dealer in the game. 32,000 for Sylvana, who comes in on second place. And then Falstad with 28k. Nice damage output also from not only Imperius, but also Varian is actually at some decent numbers. With 26k, Varian is not looking too bad here. It's actually pretty respectable. Storm talents have already kicked in, so we're getting Glory to the Alliance again. We get Impervious. And we get Bolt of the Storm here with the invisible friends of Brightwing saying hello once again. Copenhagen with the Haka. Ah, Diablo wants to go for it right away. We got Wind Tunnel, Living Weapon, the usual talents. The fight gets forced. Falstad can fly in, and does. So it's a full 5-man again, and Falstad flew in a little bit too deep if you ask me. Damn. Ultralisk gusts away, uses the Wind Tunnel. So they are in a pretty awkward spot here, but that gust wasn't too bad. It isolated the Haka for a second, but the fight's still a bit of a wild one. Here comes the Ancestral and also the Bunker. Apocalypse with a beautiful connect. That's Imperius gone. They might get a second kill too. They go for Varian. Brightwing is already on the run, and Bad Benny goes down. That's a double kill right there. Varian gone, so is Imperius, and that fight initially didn't start off well for the blue team. So that was a very nice turnaround that they got here. The first one to fall was Imperius, and then they're starting to just chase Brightwing and Varian. They settle for only one of them, take Varian out, Brightwing escapes, but that opens up an opportunity at the bottom of the map where they're going straight away for the keep to try and drop this one. Very well done. Really, really cool moves now and teamfight coordination from the blue team. And it also gives them not only the keep, but an additional seed, which threatens now another set of Garden Terrors for the Raiders. So the next seed, no matter who takes it, will give us an objective again. We have another 10 seconds on the map where the Raiders have the superior numbers. So they could use that to get as many mercenary camps as possible. Very little that they can steal away from the opponent. It's not like the red team had a lot of camps available at that time. So they have to settle for their own. And also to try and push out some of those waves, which they are doing at the top right now. Structural situation is obviously now better for the Raiders. I mean, hands down. They've just done better with that. The keep at the bottom of the map, for example, could play a role as the game continues. Oh! An Ultralisk with the pause. It doesn't seem like anybody dropped here. So I'm not 100% certain what the reason for the break is, but let's hope that it's resolved quickly, and then we'll find out who takes game number 1 in this best of 5. Alright, so we're back, and the blue team is joking the entire time, and I have to assume at this point that there is a kernel of truth to it, that Ultralisk was essentially partying yesterday, which is the reason why he came in late today, and he went to get himself some water, and that nearly took him 5 minutes. So I'm not quite sure where he went for that water, but yeah. Either way, good for the hydration, and yeah, obviously, if you're drinking quite a bit, I would recommend food. Get some solids into you, make sure that you also replenish the fluids, and then you're gonna have a much better day. To be fair, we haven't seen any drunk plays from Ultralisk yet. So far, his performance was on point. Good drag against Diablo, and using that Ancestral already, that hurts. Gast has to be used at well. Isolation, mind control. I mean, they dropped everything on Diablo here. And here comes the counter. Lots of ults exchanged. Finally, can they now get Diablo? It took them ages, but they finally can get the kill. They grab the kill, they want to go for number 2, and they eliminate Blaze, and this might just have won the Exodia stack the game. It's a little bit too soon to tell, but that was a big step forward. Diablo is obviously back, as they were able, well, he was already fully stacked. Blaze is down for 50 seconds though, and now that they're taking the remaining camps and also gather the seed, it will give them Garden Terrors that they can use to push through the map. If they can't end it here, they should at least be able to take a keep or two. That's the minimum. Now, The good news for the blue team is that 2 of the Garden Terrors spawn very far back. So those will definitely lose a few hit points until they finally arrive on the other side, specifically, of course, with the catapult pressure that's coming in as well. But keep in mind that Sylvanas is on the side of the red team, so they can use her to push this even further. And yeah, let's see. 10 seconds for Blaze. This could actually be much better on the defense than I initially thought. Falset has Gust again. Diablo is going to get Apocalypse at some point. Even the keep here in the middle is going to be totally fine because they're burning down the Garden Terror very quickly. Now the push is of course still going to continue, and the red team is going to try and pin them down here to allow the Garden Terrors on the auxiliary lanes to do this thing. Mind control missing though. And now they have to start splitting some heroes off to the side lanes in order to defend properly. But the red team is also following suit, trying to empower that push further. Fall set at the bottom of the map now. Ults are basically all ready, with the exception of Mind Control, which already got used earlier in the fight. Fall set defends the bot lane, and now they're down to the top. This is actually not doing a whole lot for the Exodia stack. They're not even getting a cape with this. They're getting nothing. They just got the objective, and because of the good work on the lanes that we've saw previously from the Raiders, pushing these lanes out, this objective did nothing. 2 of the Garden Terrors started so far back that it took them forever to arrive. The first one in the middle got burned down by the entire team. So all that gave to the red team is a certain amount of map control. If you're looking at the vision that they are running right now, they have much more of the map simply because their own lanes, as you can see on the minimap, are now fully pushed out over here. So that's pretty alright for them. They have more of the map just in general. The blue team needs to now continue to just push this out. They can rely on Falset for that as long as they know where the red team is, so that he doesn't fall into a trap and get killed. So we'll see how that's going to work for them. But yep, they are already with the birdie up at the top, and they're doing their thing right there. Now, down at the bottom of the map, yeah, here comes the next little move for the camps. This time it's a few that get stolen away. It's actually a big push at the bot lane. Okay, we're gonna get the fight too. Falstad is flying in, is looking for the angle, I guess. Gust them into an apocalypse, so at least that's the idea. Only 1 stun connects though, but they're making a play for the Haka as he re-emerges. The ult from Imperius as they're making a move. They're trying to kill Diablo again, but there's already the heals. Big heals coming out. The numbers for Rhaegar skyrocketing. Jet propulsion on the Bishops as they're trying to get the kill on Brightwing and Imperius, and they lock in the double. They get both of them. Nicely done, both of them gone, but also a big push towards the keep at the bottom of the map. Seems like they're not too concerned about it. The only reason why you wouldn't be concerned about it is that you're trying to end the game. You're trying to end the game here. With the kills that they just got, they are sacrificing the keep in the middle, and they're going to be sacrificing the keep at the bottom of the map. That seems to be the play here. The whole idea being, we are getting the seed, we're getting the Garden Terrors, we're ending the game. We don't care that both of these keeps are now gone and have just fallen, because we're going for the win right here, right now, and the keeps don't matter anymore to us. And it seems like they are going to be able to pull that off. Great moves on the last battle. The Ancestral absolutely on point. The core now down to 40%. And the Raiders, ladies and gentlemen, take the lead in the winner bracket final against the Exodia stack as they lock in the W on Garden of Terror. GG. Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV. With a 1-0 lead for the blue team, we're heading into map number 2, Dragonshire, and I got bad news for everybody that had fun with the story that Ultralisk went partying yesterday and is a bit hungover, and therefore I had to go for that pause on the last map. So I actually talked to him a little bit and was just like, are your teammates just all in on the joke? Did you actually go out and you just came back late? You were hungover and that's why you appeared late today and had to pause during the first map? Well, what's happening here? And he told me like, no, this is definitely not a thing. And the real story is a lot more boring, unfortunately. Apparently Ultralisk has allergies, and they were kicking in heavily during the first game, so that's why he had to pause and take a minute. And I can absolutely relate. When I lived in Germany, I had a lot of allergies as well. There's a couple of grasses and some other stuff, some pollen that I was and I guess still am allergic to. and it is an insane nuisance in the summer. So thankfully, when I lived in Korea, that didn't affect me whatsoever. The same when I lived in Los Angeles, and now that I live in Spain, I am basically not affected. Spain has, I think, something blooming in the spring that affects me for maybe a week or two, but also very mildly, so I'm very happy about that. So everything that I'm actually allergic to seems to only be located in certain parts of Germany. But I can definitely relate. If you have hay fever, any of the stuff, it's massively annoying. So, yeah. His teammates are having a lot of fun with the story that he's drunk, though. So, it doesn't quite vibe his Ultralix personality. I was also about to say, if that's how he plays when he's drunk, I mean, I play nowhere near that when I'm sober. So, yeah, that would have made me very, very jealous. But anyways, now that we're heading into game number 2, we have Chromie and we have my F-Band out. We get a lot of Overwatch gets also kicked out of the game. And Blaze again as a first pick reminds me a lot of what we saw previously when Dequaza was, of course, the side lane king and always played Blaze. But then for Exodia stack, we get Jojo, we get Urel. Again, Dragonshire being the map. So we already have our side lane essentially locked in with Blaze plus Urel here. Yeah, and with a double pick that we're now getting, let's see what exactly the Raiders are up to. First game was awesome. First game was great. Really loved it. Nice back and forth the entire time. We now get Diablo and we get Brightwing, so this time for the blue team instead for their opponents. But the decision making, the back and forth fights, the comebacks that we had on map number 1, if the entire best of 5 series is shaped by action like that, then hey, count me in. Definitely going to be a fan on this one. So now that we're getting the additional, the final bans for game number 2, let's see what we're getting. Also, by the way, the entire team taking the piss out of Ultralisk is a little bit mean, right? The guy is suffering there with allergies, is like soldiering through for the team, and they are just spreading rumors and lies about him just being halfway drunk still. I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, there's a lot of prize money on the line here in the RavenCourt. We have a minimum, I think, 3,500 euros, a little bit more even by now probably, that are on the line for this. And I would have been shocked if he was half drunk at this time of day still. That would probably mean either that he can't hold his drink, or that at the same time he partied way too long. Yeah, Anduin gets banned after we got Genji eliminated from this one too. And now off we go with the red team going for the quick double pick here. What is Dino gonna get? What is Bishop's gonna get? Bishop's Hanzo is eliminated already. With Dragonshire being the map, we have Falstad still, but Sylvana's not being banned, means that Bishops for now happily takes her. Could of course pass it over to Dino, as we've seen in game number 1, depending on what Dino wants to play here. And the double pick on the left side, they still need damage as well. I guess we're going to get at least one mage here. Could still get Falstad if Ultralisk wants to play him again. I mean, generally he favors the birdie. And this is a map where you can do a lot with it. And there it is. Falstad comes in and we get Nano with Hammer. So, Hammer time. Once again, the Sergeant is in the house. And that leaves us with Dino as the final pick for map number 2 in the best of 5 series. There is a loser's bracket, so whichever team wins here moves on straight to the grand final, but the loser still has a chance for revenge if they go through a loser's bracket run. In total we had 4 teams in the playoffs, and here comes Zagara for Dino as so often, and well, that sets us up for game number 2. Dragonshire, ladies and gentlemen, Exodia stack against the Raiders. The Raiders are in the lead. The 1-0 after the victory on Garden of Terror is something that they can now try and extend on the second map. We are on Dragonshire. We have Nano for the blue team. On Sergeant Hammer, we get Skook on Diablo, but Death Knight on Brightwing, Sven on Blaze, and Ultralisk on Falstad. To the right side of the map, the Exodia stack with Dino on Zagara. Gonna move down to the bottom of the map, of course, with her. We have Bishops on Sylvanas. So they have 2 heroes that are really strong at pushing lanes. Benny on Johanna, Copenhagen on Urel, and Yasu is playing Rhaegar. So, time to shine. Let's see what the team can pull off here. Already some action in the middle of the map immediately. Trying to get some vision going as well in that little Bermuda triangle that we have over here with those creep tumors. entire red team is already pushing for this, as we have the players on the blue team, on the Raider side, starting to go for those side lane minion waves. Ultralisk as the top will initially have to deal with Urel, as at the bottom of the map, Dino is now, of course, starting to set up with Zagara. One of the things that I actually liked quite a lot about the games on the first day was the Zagara plays that we've seen with Infest as the level 1 talent. Not something that you see a whole lot, but I thought it was actually pretty cool to see that used for once. So as a push strategy, can be interesting. Hope that we are seeing the occasional use case in the future as well. Ultralisk, losing a lot of hit points actually against Urel here. Is not going to be too happy with that. 1 minute mark has passed, which means that we now have the camps up on the map, so all of the players can slowly start to make their plays for more lane dominance by grabbing the mercenary camp, the bruisers, the siege giants, and get all of that going. Sven already doing that on the left side in Copenhagen, just saying quickly hello, but with Falstad moving around the corner and targeting him, he is just moving away from that and realizing, okay, this is not really going to happen, so let's just back off for now and take it easy here. As it stands, we're now having Copenhagen top side still pushing this. We also have, of course, with both boozer camps in, still something where you can cause a bit of an imbalance by Falstad starting to pay attention to it. Bottom of the map, another camp is getting targeted, and with the neutral mercenary camp now being claimed by the red team, they can start to really leverage Zagara as well and try to push through. Sergeant Hammer doesn't have level 7 yet, so it's going to be pretty tricky for Nano to do too much here. It's going to set up behind the gate, but always annoying when you don't have any mobility with Sergeant Hammer, and that's exactly what Nano is experiencing now. Level 4 talents are ready for the two teams, which means that we now have also siege tactics. As so often, Diablo defending alone in the mid lane, whereas at the top, Sylvanas is starting to help out Urel, who is used for target practice here by Sven and Ultralisk, forcing Yasuo with Rhaegar towards the top. So he's now jumping in. At the bottom of the map, yeah, Nano is reclaiming control, and for just a second they actually have double control. The lineup that they're running here, by the way, is not perfect for the creep tumors. So if this continues, Zagara actually has a chance of getting some decent vision. Brightwing jumping in the middle to help out Diablo and is dying a moment later. Yeah, nicely done, well played. They forced Brightwing to teleport into the mid lane to help out Scope on Diablo, and then the shift happens towards Brightwing and she falls. Sergeant Hammer at the bottom of the map is getting pushed back too, and that could allow Exodia stack to apply now more pressure towards the first objective, as they're threatening a Dragon Knight in the middle. The attack is also happening here, but with Bishops losing hit points quickly and having to zip out, as long as they don't lose a hero here, they should be fine denying the DK. They still don't have level 7 though. That's really annoying for Sergeant Hammer at the bot lane in particular. Zagara is taking full control on that. We now have her with Bile Drop on level 7. And the birdie is going to take over at the top. Benny, yeah, trying to the interrupt is there. Benny was trying to channel, but Falstad now has it. Scorp though. Yeah, he's low and he goes down. So that's the second kill for the Exodia stack. They're using Sylvanas for some free damage on the fort in the middle. Falstad flying down and trying to threaten Dino. Dino has realized that very quickly though. He has of course a lot of vision too, as we talked about earlier. So even with that damage done, they're absolutely fine here. I mean, look at the vision that they have here. All of that area, whenever anybody is moving through this, thanks to the creep tumors, the vision that we have from them is absolutely perfect. So no problems for Zagara to stay safe. They don't have, let's say, Gul'dan, who with Bellflame can easily take care of those creep tumors. Or Jojo with the Condemn, with the Shield Glare, Arthur's, whichever hero you want. The first Dragon Knight now taken as well puts more pressure onto the Raiders. So game number 2, at least at the beginning, is way tricky for them. Hover Siege mode is now in play. We have Malevolence for Stitches. I was actually thinking about Hover Siege mode for Sergeant Hammer the other day, and we've talked about graduating range and other things, and that essentially hovering siege mode is absolutely mandatory. And I remembered something that I haven't seen in a while, but we had one time, I don't remember when it was a couple of years ago. We had one game where Sergeant Hammer took graduating range and they played it with, that's a meme. They played it with Stitches, and Stitches was just using Helping Hand the entire time to move Sergeant Hammer with graduating range forward. That is the only combo that I can really come up with where it might make sense for you to go into graduating range. It's more of a meme than anything else, but I honestly thought that the idea behind it was kind of funny. Normally, of course, you will see in 999 out of 1,000 cases hover siege mode, because it is just such a mandatory talent for the hero. But I would love to see another game, you know, where Stitches gets played with Sergeant Hammer and uses Helping Hand to getting a graduating range Sergeant Hammer slowly forward into range of heroes and objects during fights. Would be kind of amusing. The level 10 abilities have now kicked in. Still the 1 level lead for the Exodia stack. They took the fort out in the middle of the map, and now they're working with more siege, more mercenary camps at the bot lane as well, so they're starting to go for that too. All the way up at the top, we're getting Ultralisk and Sven defending again, as both of the camps are slowly starting to collide here. Middle of the map, obviously, Copenhagen still pushing and escorting the catapults through. Could also take the side lanes out, honestly, just to deny a bit of vision to the opponent. And a couple of stun opportunities for Diablo, who's already sitting at the side. But the vision thanks to those creep tumors is always fantastic. Nice combo attempt though. And there's the BFG, the Ancestral. Beautiful, worked nicely for them. Maw is out, but they still want the kill on Bishops, and they might actually get this one. Good damage done, but it's not it is enough. Blaze comes in with a final hit, and not only him, Johanna also falls. So they get a double kill against Sylvanas and Johanna. They weren't able to take Zagara down. Still should send some heroes back. Well, there's not too much on the camp, but this is actually an opportunity to get the Dragonite. So very nicely done. Well played. And it was Sylvanas that they went for first. Blaze moving towards the top and getting the kill. And then, of course, we have the second one following as Jojo becomes the secondary target and falls. Yeah, Falstad is coming in with Brightwing, and Zagara in trouble. And with trouble, I mean she's dead. So Dainu thought he had a chance there, and if not for Brightwing, that would have definitely been a thing. But the Dragonite will still be taken. I don't see an interrupt happening in time. Skog is already channeling, and that's DK number 1 for the Raiders. They are doing well here. They're doing actually very, very well. That's a perfect opportunity for them to get ahead maybe in the game for now. So let's see how much damage they can actually do with it. 3 kills to 2, put them already in a solid spot when it comes to the kills. In experience, they're looking much better now as well. Both teams by now with level 13 talents. And with the DK, I mean, we're 8 minutes in, they can open up some of the walls. They can also help out with Sergeant Hammer a little bit, as we're seeing down at the bottom of the map. But the red team is responding well and is rotating heroes over very quickly to ensure that they're not taking too much damage on their main structures. So, still all good. Dragonite active for another 25 seconds, so can play with the Dragon's Breath a bit, which is going to maybe take an... well, I don't even think... Does he get another one? I would have held that cooldown back a little bit for the minion wave. Alright, I still... Okay, can still get it. But, yep, Dragon's Breath is in, minion wave is down. There's a bit of an attack happening in the middle, though, as Blaze was targeted. But, yeah, DK time is over. So they got a Dragonite. They got a bit more map control, but haven't taken out too many structures, disregarding for a moment the wall in the middle. So still no fort that has actually been destroyed on the red team side. Some of them have started to take some damage, but that was already about it. So not much more than that happening. Yeah, there's the next attack already, slowly kicking in down at the bottom of the map with the Siege Giants that they were just now grabbing. So, Siege Giants against Siege Giants, middle of the map, they were trying to go for Blaze. Sven realized it very quickly though, immediately moved back, so no problem for him. And now at the bottom of the map, we have them slowly starting to fall back again. So, it's a bit of a problem that the opponent grabs the early level 16, of course, so you have to be careful around that. But they're engaging before that talent is there. Ancestral is out after Apocalypse gets used by Diablo. They're trying to make the move here, but more utilized by Zagara. And that isolates Skog. Brightwing to the rescue. Condemn comes out, and it's once again Ultralisk with a quick gust that helps out the team here. The attack is coming, Skog, and he still gets away. They were targeting Diablo over and over again, but he is able to make his way out of that fight. So, nicely done. good for him. And yeah, pretty sweet. I mean, this looked dangerous for a moment. It looked very dangerous for a second. But they are able to move him back out of the battle. So Diablo is still able to hold onto the soul stacks. Did not lose anything here. They did do some serious damage to that fort, but now the red team is trying to respond in the exact same way at the bot lane as they're trying to push for this one. So yeah, trying to see if they can maybe take that one out. 16 talents are now finally kicking in on the side of the blue team too, though. And that means that we're having an even talent fight again. They're trying to go for Benny. Joanna a bit low. Bunker is out. But nobody dying. So a lot of action actually, a lot of fights, a lot of damage done, abilities, cooldowns used, and nobody really eating dirt. So nobody going down that fight. Everybody knew exactly where the line was. And as I say it, Blaze gets caught and killed. Some amazing saves and reactions, and then this happens. So now we have an overall 36,000 damage for Sylvanas, top damage in the game. Zagara comes in second with 31,000. The blue team is down to 4 of their heroes. They have 26,000 damage on on Sergeant Hammer as the top damage dealer, and have to give up the Dragonite because there was just not enough for them to make a play here. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate, of course, from their perspective. But they're starting to move away from this. At the bottom of the map, the attack is going to hit now. So they're going to try and make a play for the wall and take this one out. But definitely a bit of a nuisance now from the perspective of the Raiders. They're pinned down once again. When it comes to talents, by the way, noteworthy that we have Executioner for Sergeant Hammer. So no Giant Killer here. Executioner instead. Leaving that. Okay, Falstad looking for the Gust. They want Zagara here. And the APOC combo, nice! Even with the Maw, the kill is guaranteed. Maw is out, the kill is in, but Brightwing falls as well. Brightwing is gone. The Dragonite is still hammering away at the keep as they're trying to eliminate that. Falstad coming in through the middle now. Ult used on Urel, but they are going for that keep still. I think they have a chance here to grab it. Ultralis is able to barrel roll out just before he falls. And with Diablo re-engaging, they want to go for another kill, but Smoke is also a bit low, has to be careful. There's no Brightwing to help out any further. Benny! Yeah, Diablo's not the only one that's low here. Sylvanas would still love to push for that camp, but can't. But look at that fight. So here comes the punt, then Falstad flies in. Maybe they could have used the Apocalypse a little bit differently, but they were not supposed to gust into APOC, I suppose. So Zagara still falls. That was essentially what they were trying to do with that in the first place. Even with the reaction on the Maw. So even with that Maw. And yeah, now of course the opportunity to push the bot lane out a bit to ensure that the keep does not get destroyed. Because that is, at the end of the day, what they were really threatening here. So right now, they are trying their best to make sure that they have siege giants on the bot lane and that they have as much as possible so that there's no problem for them with that bot side keep. The opponent still has a fort standing on the bot lane, so if you lose their keep in that situation, then you are in a real tough spot because you're facing off against catapult after catapult, but there's absolutely nothing spawning for you that could provide a counterbalance. 19 against 18, less than half a level lead here. But yeah, let's see how much farther they can go. Already, Dino starting to go for the top lane with Zagara now, so they have started to shift focus a little bit. They want to take the last remaining fort out. And they are trapping Diablo in the middle. Brightwing helps out, and then immediately the double kill. Yeah! Too late with the Gust, and that's a total disaster. The Wailing Arrow in that situation was pitch perfect. The second that Brightwing comes in, the Wailing Arrow connects, and that just shuts the entire team down, or both of them. Diablo and Brightwing couldn't do anything at that point anymore. They both fall, and this is, of course, an absolute nightmare. First Diablo getting caught, then him dying together with Brightwing. Diablo's already back, but he is now completely robbed of all of the stacks that he had previously. Dragonite is taken. And this time they won't be able to save the keep at the bottom of the map. So this time they have no chance of making that happen. And the bigger question is, can they save the core? There's a big opportunity now for the team in red to go for a 1-1 score in this best of 5 series. Can they pull it off? I mean, we'll find out right now. The keep is essentially insta-gone. Immediately. There's no level 20 for them either. They don't have level 20 talents. Diablo goes instantly for an attack against Sylvanas, but it's false that it gets popped like a pimple. 7 kills to 4, and everything is now again stacked against the blue team. Zagara at least dies. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Sergeant Hammer is trying to do whatever she can. 20 is finally ready, but the core is falling. It's falling quickly, and this should be the tie in the series. Indeed it is. We have the Exodia stack with a victory on Dragonshire. GG. Game number 3, Sky Temple. So, we got the Exodia stack against the Raiders on our third map, and the series is tied now, so who's gonna take the lead here? Really nice performance from both teams. Honestly, if we get more games like this, then hey, let's go to the 5th map, because this is quite entertaining. A lot of back and forth action. Everybody is just going for one fight after another, setting little traps for the opponent. And yeah, even if you win a big team fight, it's not guaranteed that you're ending the game. Exodia stacked towards the end. I think they could have also lost this one fairly easily, but then they got that one pick against Diablo. Brightwing comes in and they kill both. So after that they catch Blaze. So it's essentially twice that they were able to trap somebody and take him out. That helped them to then gain the lead and eventually resulted in them winning the game and grabbing another objective. So kudos to them. Nicely played out. Now that we're heading into Sky Temple, which was by the way chosen by the Exodia stack. So we have as a first pick in the first ban the red team again in position. Likely Blaze as a side laner again for Sven as their first choice. I suppose they could go for a bit of a different side laner on Sky Temple, but there's still a big chance that they're deciding to go for Blaze once more. They've already first picked that 2 times now, so see relatively few reasons for them to change their MO here. But time will tell. I mean, we'll find out right now. So Genji gets banned, and so does Sylvanas. Apparently after facing off against Dino Sylvanas twice in a row now, they're kind of done with it. And they're just like, alright, how about no? And they're just denying that pick to him. So Dino has to reconsider the things a little bit. Here comes Blaze. So nothing crazy happening for the blue team. Deciding that they're going for the save. Sven is essentially the new day Quasar here. Which is kind of a shame because I want to see him on Samuro. He's one of the Samuro players that we have on the European server, and I absolutely love to see a good Samuro on a high level. And it would have been fun if he at some point gets to play it. Bishops with Hanzo, so he gets one of his power picks, and we have Bad Benny on Johanna again, same as we just saw on Dragonshire. I am fairly curious though what Dino is now going to play. But first and foremost, Chromie is up. Nano could pick her if he wanted to. Played Sergeant Hammer, can pick another mage. We get Diablo and Brightwing first, so as a combo, the 2 of them again chosen. This is now the 3rd time in a row that we have the 2 of them as a double team. I mean, initially I think it was on the first map the Exodia stack that picked it, and then it was the Raiders. So essentially, you pick Diablo and Brightwing and you lose the game. That's what happened so far. That was true twice. Let's see if it's true for a 3rd time. Yeah, I mean, normally, obviously, a very strong pick combo. But I like that they're also getting rid of Falstad now. So essentially, they've now had to deal with the Falstad gusts and all of the plays that we've seen from Ultralist the entire time. And they decided that they don't want to deal with this anymore. So they come in and ban the Birdie out, which leaves Dehaka as a global side laner. So there's a chance that they even ban him. I mean, if you're worried about globals now running the macro game here, they could get rid of him. And they do! They ban Dehaka. So, they ban Dehaka, they take him out. If you want to go for an additional global, you have to go a little bit farther down the rabbit hole. I mean, there's still Abathar, Samuro as a pseudo-global, Illidan, Stage Dive, ETC. You still have a few options, but they're highly unlikely to be taken here. Malfurion and Urel, that actually hints at a potential Tracer pick also for Dino, which I would definitely second. That was pretty cool. Seeing Tracer from Dino here would be pretty sweet. So let's see if that's what they are hoping for. But the blue team with a double pick now. Okay, so Nano and Ultralisk are still remaining. We need damage. Nano likely with a mage. There's Chromie and we get Greymane. Chromie, Greymane for the Raiders. And now the question, what is Dino going to pick? They have Hanzo and Malfurion here. Frontline is also, of course, quite strong. You got Urel, fantastic. Then Johanna can also utilize a blind against Greymane. There's a couple of slows that she can contribute here too. Personally, I would love to see at some point also a bit more Falling Sword. We already had it in this tournament. I was highlighting it a lot in the context of the Korean tournament, where Falling Sword was played equally to Blessed Shield. And we get Tracer. As expected, Tracer is taken. And with that, we're ready for game number 3. The blue team on Sky Temple with Ultralisk on Greymane. We got Chromie played by Nano. Death Knight on Brightwing again. Blaze is playing Sven as he did so often already in this series. And then Skog on Diablo. Strong front line for the Raiders. Over on the right side of the map, the Exodia stack with Tracer played by Dino. We got Copenhagen on Urel. Bishops is playing Hanzo, again, one of his power picks. And then we're getting Bad Benny on Johanna. And Yasu is playing Malfurion for the red team. Who's pulling ahead here? Who's going to claim victory in this third game? Who takes the lead in the best of 5 series and has a chance to advance towards the grand final of the tournament here at the RavenCourt? We have Malfurion already hiding a little bit. Everybody is just like playing this a little bit slow now. Obviously there's a chance if you have Greymane on the other side that they're trying to make a play with Worgen form onto some of the structures. On Sky Temple it's more beneficial than on a lot of other maps if you can go in and take some of the structures out early. It's not really the case here, so they haven't done that. But let's see how much farther this is gonna go, because essentially what they're now doing is just fighting for the bot lane a little bit. Normally you're seeing more of a battle towards the front of the map. Tracer and Urel are still up against Blaze at the top lane, but the rest of the blue team has now started to rotate between the bottom and the mid lane here. Now of course the camps are spawning right now, which you can already see, which means that they are very quickly going for those. Greymane, fantastic on camp clear, always has been, always will be. And he's gonna grab the first set of Siege Giants, as we now see over on the right side the same thing happening. Should probably not say always will be. You never know what happens with Blizzard. At some point they're gonna bring out another patch and all of a sudden Greymane becomes an even bigger monster in the PvP play, but loses his abilities to go for waves and mercenary camps. I wouldn't put it past them whatsoever. So yeah, I should be a little bit careful how I phrase that. The caster curse has already hit very hard in the past when it came to teams and individual players. At some point this is going to be extended to a company-wide problem. And yeah, then we're going to influence the entire way that Heroes gets played. As it stands now though, Greymane is going to have quite some fun on those camps. So they are much faster, as you can already tell. They've taken both of their camps and they're escorting this in very, very early to ensure that they're going to get big damage done here. And this looks very much like they're going to be able to take at least 1 or 2 of the towers out. There's still some pressure at the bottom of the map too. Tracer has now moved into the middle in an attempt to take the vision away from them. So she's already on that. And still not a single kill yet. Jojo coming in from behind, trying to flank in here. Gets immediately attacked, runs in the trap, okay, but Death Knight low and dead again. They're coming in with a big fly swatter here. So they went to the €1 shop, got themselves a big fly swatter, one without that hole in the middle that gives the fly a last chance, and they're just absolutely crushing the fruit fly whenever they find her. So Death Knight is actually just getting swatted around here, and also ends up first blood in game number 1. So a solid start again for the team in red. Half a level lead now, thanks to that. And they're taking double control on the temple as well. Not for the entire duration, I'd say, but hey, every single shot that they can fire off here obviously matters and counts. So as long as they're getting all of that done, great for them. Now all the way up at the top side, level 7 is now kicking in for them even. Yeah, Copenhagen also just moving out. Blue team has taken over, at least on that account. They're letting go of the middle just to force the fight at the top. And Dino is instantly on Nano and does a lot of damage. Nearly pops Chromie within a second. Bit of body blocking now also happening against Diablo. A lot of body blocking. And that's the kill. Brightwing realized too late that she was needed. Greymane is also gone. Damn, what happened to the Exodia stack? They're crushing their opponents completely. 3 kills to 0. Make it 4, baby. Blaze is also dead and more shots fired. That means that the fort in the middle is going to get destroyed. So as far as early games on Sky Temple go, this is insane. That's a level advantage. And again, a fort that will fall. That's amazing. I mean, for early games on this map, that's incredible. Just look at this. They opened up the topside wall, they destroyed the fort in the middle. Greyman is now back on camp duty. But that hurt, and it hurt a lot. I feel a bit sorry for the Raiders here. They opened up strong in game number 1 with a victory, and now the Exodia stack apparently found their rhythm. Can the blue team fight back? I'm gonna showcase that right now. The camp is being fought over, and the red team is apparently eager to dominate this game even further. But there's the counter pressure. They go for Hanzo. Big fight towards the back too, as they're starting to target Urel. No kill for the Raiders. Well, at least not yet. Maybe now. Chromie, they still want to go 4-1. Sven! Oh, got the heals here. But everybody on the red team was also fairly low, and with Greyman moving in with a bit of AoE damage, they lost even more hit points. The problem is still the same though. The Raiders are not getting kills, and the Exodia stack is now closing in on level 10. So heavily ahead in this early game, and Raiders gotta step it up. Now we got the Ardent Defender again, and there it is, the Falling Sword. I called for it and I'm getting it. Nice. You ask and you shall receive, apparently. That's what we're getting today here. I want Butcher. Sorry, I have a little bit of a cough still. I'm still not 100% recovered. I highly doubt that I'm going to get that wish granted, by the way. But anyways. So they go for the boss. They think that they have a time window here, and that it's big enough. And from the looks of it, that is the case. So blue team is just showing, is hoping that they can somehow push them back, but of course that's not happening, so the boss gets claimed, and the Exodia stack the red team. They're trying to turn this game into a bit of a speed run. Boss is going to do some solid damage. The temple at the bottom of the map is now going to help them out too, so it seems like a second fort is inevitably going to get destroyed here. Mega early boss, by the way. I mean, 6 minutes in, so that boss is going to do very, very little, but is going to at least focus their attention onto that bot lane. Yeah, Apocalypse already used by Diablo. They were hoping to get a grab here, couldn't. And the fort's gone. Fort's gone. One of the top gets attacked. Here, Sven gets caught. Tracer just buzzing around. Dino eats the bullet. Again, they've lost so many structures already. They're attacking the fort at the top. It's the final one, and it will fall if they don't send anybody down to take Urel out. And currently, it just doesn't seem like they will. So another fort falls. That means we are now 7 minutes into the game. Topside fort has fallen. All the forts on the blue team side are now gone. They lost a single fort at the top. They being the red team. And are now fully in the driver's seat. Now Worgen form on Greyman. Again, fantastic to take structures down. So they're using it to try and bring themselves back into the game by aggressively pushing for the bottom fort. And they actually have done a decent amount of damage. And there might be the first kill. Can they take Urel out? And the answer is no. Skok gets attacked instead. They're pushing in with everything they have. Jojo isn't here yet. They have to use the bunker. Joanna coming in from the top, but they should be able to retreat. But the distance to safety is pretty long, because they do not have their fort at the bot lane anymore. So here comes the Falling Sword. Nice timeout by Nano, but it's not going to be enough. Nice little move by Chromie, trying to block that out, but it just wasn't enough to survive. Still appreciate the attempt, but as you can see here, didn't work out. So here comes the Falling Sword. Nano with a good little move, but that allowed the rest of the team to catch up, and then Chromie falls. So kill number 5 for the Exodia stack. Everybody just being chased down here. Level 13 talents, of course, also an advantage that the red team is going to be very willing to rely upon. There's another double temple coming up. I mean, if they can do more damage here now onto those key balls, then things could explode a bit with the next objective here. Still not a single kill for the blue team. So, yeah, they are in a bit of trouble here. Now, at least the damage at the bottom fort dropped it to 30% of its HP. If they can win a team fight, let's say they win a team fight, they take 2 or 3 heroes out. If they don't lose Greymane in the process, they can make a big play to pressure the opponent. So that could definitely happen. But first of all, they need to win that fight. And so far, we haven't seen them threaten kills enough. So what can they do here? 5 kills to 0. Blue team with level 13 talents now in the back are starting to make some moves for it. It's still Urel who holds on to the shrine, to the temple, and is getting shots fired. Blaze is moving in, wants to get a connect, hasn't so far. Dino, okay, eats some of the damage, but they have to push in. They just don't have another choice. There's siege giants at the bottom of the map for the red team too that will soon start to threaten the wall at the keep. There's the APOC. Oh, the timing just off by half a second, or Dino would have been dead. Ooh, that arrow goes nowhere. Oh my god. Woof. That thing flew through the entire team and through the entire map, and rumor has it that it's still flying to this day. As predicted, the siege giants are doing work at the bottom. The catapult is griefing as usual. It's starting to attack the minion wave. But this is extra damage on the bottom wall, and that's all that you want on Sky Temple. As much damage as you possibly can without using the objective. Here comes Urel. Copenhagen takes bot lane control. That will open up another wall. They've already done damage to the keep in the middle. Blue team has no other choice but follow up on this. And Urel is easily moving away. So a couple of shots at the bottom. Very likely not going to be taken, but level 16 talents have just kicked in. And how do you fight this? There's level 16 for the red team. The blue team is in such a shitty spot, and they're not Team Ash. Team Ash would just go solo YOLO and move in and kill everything in their sight. But, well, Exodia stack go for Sven. They take him down, and this is more or less the beginning of the end. Ultralisk is dead. 7 kills to 0. Here comes the falling sword. Big arrow as a follow-up. Beautiful play. 5-man team wipe. That was excellent. Excellent little play towards the end there. The falling sword clustering them all up. Then the arrow comes out and bam, everybody is dead or dying. They take the first keep. They don't go for the core. The death timers are a bit too low, so they don't want to make the big play to end the game just yet, but they're going for keep number 2. And they know that at this point, they essentially have the game won as long as they are not inting. 10 kills to 0. The boss is back up. They still have that level 16 advantage, and there are shots to be fired through the temple at the bottom of the map. So, yeah, they got everything right there. And they can go for the boss very easily. They can go and fire the shots with the temple at the bottom. It's not going to destroy the top side keep, but it's going... Well, actually, I thought they still had more of the wall remaining at the top, but I am wrong. So this is actually going to potentially take the keep down as well. They're already working on the boss here. This is, of course, then going to be the move that will allow them to go for the core, or that they will use to try and make that play for the core. But, yeah... Interesting. Shots are fired. The keep survives for now. And the blue team, I think they were hoping to just go and crush through the top lane and go for a push here. And try and just go for a YOLO move. They wanted level 16, which they now have. So they're going to try and defend. But it's an absolute Hail Mary. It's an absolute Hail Mary that we're getting from them. The arrow connects with only Blaze. He uses Bunker. The boss is moving. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. APOC is being used. They're trying their best. Falling sword in action. Here comes the play for the core. The shield is already falling. Diablo is down. Greymane is down. And the Exodia stack is destroying, absolutely crushing the Raiders. Nobody has fallen yet on the red team. 13 kills to 0. Basically a perfect game from them as they take the lead in the best of 5 series. They take the 2-1 advantage as we move to match point number 1, aka game number 4. To the Spider Queen, game number 4, match point number 1 for the Exodia stack, and they hit a completely new power level on map 3. Sky Temple, bit of a beatdown, let's be honest. The Raiders didn't stand a chance at all. They were just smacked around all game long. So yeah, one slap in the face after another. And now, of course, the question was just a bit of a one-off, and they were just like, yeah, well, draft didn't really work out, didn't get into the game properly. How do they deal with the Exodia stack now in Game 4? Because if they lose now, they're dropping into the lower bracket where they will face off against Team Ash in the losers bracket final. And Exodia stack would move on to the grand final. Now, Hanzo gets quickly banned out, targeting, of course, bishops again, and so does Maiev. With Tool the Spider Queen being a map that also allows you to go for certain mages more so than others, this could get interesting, specifically looking at Nano here. So that would be pretty cool. And there comes the Lucio ban. Could also get Kerrigan. I mean, you have Ultralisk on your team. So there's a chance for Kerrigan, I guess. There's a chance for Mephisto. And they insta-pick Johanna this time. So no screwing around with Blaze in game number 4. Johanna is just too good on Tomb of the Spider Queen to pass up on. So now they have the extra wave clear. They have the interrupts against channels. So, yeah. Not too bad. Question being, what happens to Blaze now? Is he taken by the Exodia stack? Do they value him high enough? Yes, they do. So we get Copenhagen on Blaze and Benny on Variant. So already from the start they're saying like, yeah, Benny's back to his old shenanigans. We're gonna go for kills. I like that as a contrast to what's currently being drafted, or at least hinted at, with the Johanna first pick from the Raiders. They're trying to cater more towards the map, whereas Exodia stack is just saying, okay, we're going for the lockdown with CC and we're gonna get kills here. Here comes Rega and Sergeant Hammer. Very early pick on the Sergeant for Ultralisk, but don't be fooled too much. They could swap him over to Nano. Now, do I necessarily expect that to happen? Probably not. I still believe that Nano is going to play a mage here. If they wanted, they could even play, I suppose, Kel'Thas, if they are looking for more CC. That would be the one big thing. If they're looking for CC, but he is very vulnerable, of course, to Varian and Blaze, so that would mean positioning would be everything in that situation. But if you're looking for additional CC, then he would definitely be the one to go for. Can be played on Tomb of the Spider Queen quite nicely. But then again, we have also Mephisto still up. You could go Gul'dan if you're really looking for a mage. Chromie obviously banned against him, but still. Side laner, the one thing that they didn't want to deal with is Irel. I could also have totally seen them go for Anduin, by the way, as a support. Against Varian, Anduin is pretty decent. Every single time the cooldown is burned, use your trait, and after level 16, taunting is essentially negated, more or less. That being said, we have Ana and Genji. Okay, Ana for even more CC here. I didn't necessarily see her come in as a pick. But they have a sleep dart now that they can use. Can also, of course, deny some of the heals with her. And nano boost potentially. So there's actually some pretty fun plays that they can execute with that. But I did not have that on my bingo card. So Ana gets taken. Junkrat got banned out. Kind of surprising to me that he wasn't picked before. And that leaves us with Leo and Hogger. So a triple frontline now. They're going for Leo Drain, they're going for Hogger plus Johanna to all protect Sergeant Hammer. So a full-on protect the hammer comp from them. And Dino as the final pick. No mage for Nano. But Dino now with the final choice. Could still pick also a mage, something that combos more with Ana than Genji could essentially already. But here we go. Ophia for Dino. He goes for the schoolgirl. And that gets us into game number 4. The first match point for the Exodia stack, everybody. Let's see if they're going to close out the series here or if we're going to go to game number 5. Tomb of the Spider Queen, our 4th map and match point number 1 for the Exodia stack. The Raiders, after they just get absolutely hammered around on Sky Temple. Now with Sven on Hogger. We got Nano and Sergeant Hammer, so they swapped it around. Ultralisk is the one that finds himself playing Leoric in the game. We have Death Knight on Rhaegar. Skog is playing Johanna. And then over towards the right side of the map, it's the Exodia stack with Dino on Ophia. Bishops is playing Genji. We have Bad Benny on Varian, Copenhagen on Blaze, and of course Ana currently with a grenade build on played by Yasu. So, Is the Exodia stack able to move on to the grand final here, or are we going to see the Raiders make the move for map number 5? Currently still a lot of poking happening here. Sven getting attacked at the bottom of the map, was going 1v2 there for a moment, but not a problem for him. Easily moved out of harm's way. As the attack over towards the middle is still happening too, and oof. Hogger gets killed at the bottom of the map after all, what? Even after he was already aware that he's up against 2, so apparently moved out again, got hit by the jet propulsion, eliminated a second later. So already off to a good start for the red team. With that kill, I mean, that's pretty sweet for them. They get an easy kill there, no problem at all, and find themselves also in dominant position on the bot lane now. Here in the middle, on the other hand, the attacks still keep coming. They're trying to utilize Nano to zone the opponent out. With the comp that they're playing, they're obviously heavily relying on Sergeant Hammer as their only range damage dealer, meaning that level 7 is absolutely crucial. Whatever hammer composition you play, this is one of the power spikes that you will experience simply because of that extra mobility on the Sergeant. But they're already trying to get as much out of Nano as they can in that rotation between the mid and the top lane. Camps are also taken. Bishops still zipping around with Genji here, attempting to interrupt and annoy his opponent as much as he can. Kind of on the choo-choo train here too. Skog, alright, already trying to just chase him away. So with Genji just being a pain, they're hoping to chase him away as quickly as possible. Top side, we have Ultralis playing against Bad Benny. Benny himself, of course, waiting for the next talent. He wants to make sure that he gets level 4 for taunt. And Dino coming in with Orphea and doing some serious damage here. Dino barely able to get out of that fight. Now we get taunt, and we now also have the biotic enhancement. So going full grenade build against Rhaegar and the heals that he's going to get through. Siege tactics for Sergeant Hammer. This doesn't come as a shock either. Next attack already happening here as well. Starting to move towards the bottom of the map for the next camp. And it's actually the red team that claims it. So the red team is able to take the camp, get the siege giants, and now move straight up through the bot lane for more structural damage. They've already taken the gate out, thanks to the kill against Hogger that they got earlier. Now they're trying to build on it, with the structures being destroyed. Even Skog has to move in to help out so that the siege giants don't do enough early work for them. But that's still solid damage. I mean, that allows them to take one of the towers down very early. So as far as structural damage goes on this, that's pretty sweet. Still a fight happening up at the top, so a little bit of a skirmish going on as they're fighting back and forth here. Blue team has delivered a few of their gems, so they were able to turn in 14 so far. Dino a bit low here, but still has the added mobility and is using that easily. It's going to be interesting later with the nano boost from Yasuo, how much damage Dino can really do with Orphea here. There's a tiny lead already for the red team, but this can change any moment. Change at a dime. By now we're having at the bottom of the map, Hogger and Blaze moving towards the middle. Blaze is already back. Hogger actually taking a very safe path towards the bot lane. He doesn't want to fall again. Doesn't want to run into the problem more. No turn-ins happening yet from the Exodia stack. I'm always a big fan of teams that turn in gems early when they can. Now with the side laner, that oftentimes poses a bit of a problem. We got the anti-healer, by the way. This is going to be big for Ana later on, especially when Rhaegar is going to try and use his Ancestral. We've been relying on Rhaegar and Brightwing nearly exclusively on the blue team side. Level 7 with finally the mobility that Sergeant Hammer needs here. 14 to 15 gems turned in. Here comes the taunt though. Orphea comes in, and there's the kill right there. Not only does Rhaegar go down, but they're also eliminating Jojo. And they're hoping for more kills, and they're getting more kills. They're taking Leoric down as well. That's 4 kills to 0 now. They're looking fantastic. Another taunt and a sleep dart. Sven in trouble too, but at least Sergeant Hammer gets a counter kill against Orphea. Doesn't change the fact that the blue team is falling farther behind. I mean, this one was big right there. Genji jumped in, applies some added pressure to Sergeant Hammer. Yeah, the kills that they're getting right now, and this is obviously also the first web weaver wave that they now secured for themselves. There was nobody that could have interrupted this anymore. They are half a level ahead, 4 kills to 1, and now with the web weavers, the chance to go for some serious damage. especially at the bottom of the map, where the fort has already taken some damage and lost all of those towers. So an even bigger problem for them. It's a bit unlikely that we're going to get level 10 with this, even though they have already pulled ahead and are on level 9.5. Maybe towards the back end of that Web Weaver push, they can get the additional ability. But, yep, it's a bit of a wild one. So, how much can they do with this? How much value are they going to get out of the first Web Weaver wave? Surprisingly little at the bottom of the map, because the defense was quite powerful here. So this hasn't really done anything. But over in the middle, things are looking a bit better, at least breaking through the wall here. And at the top lane, same thing happens. They're even trying to zone them out, with Benny sitting at the side and just saying, hey, if you want to have a piece of the action, by all means, come in and say hello. Level 10 is now ready for them too. So this is going to enhance this a bit further even. But they haven't done a lot to those forts yet. The top fort is probably their best chance, and they might even be able to take this one on, considering that they have heroics. Blue team is still waiting to catch up. And might now. The attack's coming. Oh, and Skork gets killed. Bishops makes the play, gets the kill on Jojo. They are still keeping all of the forts in play, though. That's big. All of the forts are still standing. I expected more, to be honest. It is the first objective, so it's traditionally a lot weaker, but I expected them to be able to do more. With the damage that they've already done on the wall that they, for example, removed at the bottom of the map, then level 10 kicking in late, I thought they could take one of the forts out. That hasn't happened, but they get a second Web Weaver wave immediately afterwards. And that's, of course, where the second blow then can hit hard. Rhaegar is waiting with his level 10. Again, anti-healer on level 7 for Ana. One of the main reasons why they made that choice, I suppose. So, are we going to see Bloodlust with Sergeant Hammer? Are they deciding that it's too much of a risk with Ana counterplaying Rhaegar, that they now want to go into a more aggressive stance with their composition? Hoarder pulled for Hogger, also a slight deviation away from the typical play that we're getting in the European scene. Still defending nicely at the bottom. By the way, 35 and 32 gems on Hogger and on Sergeant Hammer. So yeah, they gotta be very, very careful that they don't lose the two. Big damage against Nano, way too much, and Genji just says, yeah, thank you, I'm gonna take that one. Doesn't really come as a surprise. I mean, honestly, the way that played out, that was more of a given. Obviously, at least the gems get recovered by Rhaegar. He's sitting at 44 now. Has gone into Bloodlust, so kind of dodging the problem with Ana. Genji gets killed. The attack really focusing way past that fort initially. Hogger is gone. They're still trying to recover the gems, but they're not able to grab all of them. Moving in again, and Ultralist, the swing to win. Benny, no! Oh! And they're trying for another kill. Exodia stuck with 8 kills to 2. 2 forts destroyed now. Even the topside keep is starting to take damage. Big attack here from the red team. And it all started with this kill sequence. Right here, Sergeant Hammer is moving away, gets hit by the Web Weaver, and Genji says, well, thank you, I'm going to take that. And they're following it up with a second kill on Leoric. And that is essentially what started this entire sequence that we just saw. The topside keep has now taken some significant damage already. I mean, again, to put this into context, we're not even at the 9-minute mark. Not even at the 9-minute mark. And this is just not looking promising for them. They're really having an immensely rough time with this. The red team is in full control. They've got 2 of their turn-ins already. There's still 101 gems in the hands of the blue team, so suffice it to say, they got a potential double turn-in that they can utilize in order to bring this back. So yes, they've lost some gems, but they've lost a lot less than you might have expected here. So there is a chance for them to still bring this back, but in order to do that, they need to turn those gems in. They have to also start winning a couple of fights here, and right now we're seeing none of that. So the blue team need to step it up. And the question is, can they pull that off, yes or no? Already, here comes Bloodlust. They're trying to go for Benny. Nice stun sequence again. But the bunker is out. Sergeant Hammer with attack after attack. Genji is coming in and takes down Rhaegar. Ana dies too. So does Jojo, though. They gotta retreat once more. 42 gems now on the side of Nano. They still got a ton, but they're losing Leoric. That means that 3 heroes have now fallen, and that is just too much. They're losing too much ground here, and it's starting to slowly and steadily become an utter disaster for the team in blue. That's yeah, it's just tough. Rhaegar down, Jojo down. Afterwards, the play for Ultralisk, and he was holding 40 gems at the time. So now the boss at the top is getting attacked. Another Web Weaver wave for the red team that they're getting to. They're closing in on level 16. This is looking more and more like they will take the series with a 3-1 score. The blue team, desperate. Absolutely desperate at this point. This attack is going to hit them so hard. A boss, and then on top of that, the Web Weaver wave plus a level 16 talent advantage. Surviving that is going to take everything the blue team has. It might be impossible. The play so far was just way too good. We have 45,000 damage now from Orphea. Sergeant Hammer is sitting behind Leoric in terms of damage output. Nano has 43 gems. They have essentially not been able to turn anything in. They haven't seen a single Web Weaver wave. And here now comes the move towards the top. That keep is 100% gone. You won't be able to save this. In the middle of the map, they're pushing to try and get themselves a second one. It's an utter disaster for the Raiders. They started off well into the series with a 1-0 after they won the starting map. But now they are down by 8 kills. They're down by 3 levels. They lost their top keep. They're about to potentially lose the one in the middle. Maybe even the core here. It's just absolutely nasty how much damage is being done here by the Exodia stack. Now, they are actually getting a little bit less than I expected. They get damage on the core, as we already assumed, because most of the blue team's players are defending the mid lane keep. But that also means that the core is taking a bit more damage. So, yep, they are down to 74%. The attacks are still coming. The level 16 talent advantage is something that the red team is not passing up upon. So, they are continuing with the attack, or they continued for a long time. But the keep has not fallen. So, as the dust settles, we still have enough gems. Not quite for double turn-in, but maybe they can start bringing it back a little bit. There's a big maybe right there. That would be the comeback of the ages, honestly, but we've seen crazy stuff happen in this game. They would need level 16 for it, but they're getting closer and closer to locking that in for themselves. So if they get level 16 talents and then start with those 2 turn-ins, there's always a chance. There's always a chance. But suffice it to say, they're absolutely on the ropes here. They're absolutely on the ropes. Either you make a move now, or you just, you just accept that you're going to be in the loser's bracket. That's essentially what it is. And for the red team, Exodia, they want to try to prevent this as best they can. They're shutting it down early, at least they're attempting to. They want to get those kills here. Varian in the front again, looking for another taunt target. Now that the cooldown is back, the Entomb negated by the bunker that was already on the ground. Hogger moving in from the side. Sven holding 28 gems. The kill against Yasu. Hogger goes down. 28 gems are gone. They still got enough for another turn-in. They still have enough for their first turn-in. There's always that big if. Maybe they can gain momentum. Maybe they can do something. Leo activates his trade. So that is the end of Ultralisk for now. He'll be back. But, yep, it's not looking good. Nano is also in trouble. Gets a heal from Rhaegar, but they're just being chased across the map now. Pushed back into their own base as the red team is absolutely relentless. Going again for attack after attack, showing non-stop aggression as they're trying to push very quickly for that mid lane keep. They themselves are not even close to a turn, but they can steal the cap away from the opponent, push through the bottom of the map, and they are just going for one big play after the next in an attempt to get towards level 20, to get maybe to another turn-in, maybe get another camp, push for that mid lane keep. They of course have to also make some moves. You don't want to end up in a situation where all of a sudden your opponent is able to recover because you're not capitalizing enough on the fights that you win. So now a chance here to maybe go for another kill. Hoarder pulled. They're going for Dino. They're going for the big damage dealer, and all that happens is Hogger dies a little bit quicker. He jumps in, dies again. This is now the 4th death of Hogger, and the rest of the team is already on the run. This is Johanna falling. They're falling apart here. That's the gems gone. That's Nano out. That's just game. That's game. They lose 4 heroes. Utter disaster in this fight. They get completely crushed on this one. And yeah, there's no chance. They're now going for the core through the top. This is the 3-1 victory for the team in red. The Exodia stack is going to move on to the grand final. And the Raiders will have to fight against Team Ash in the losers bracket. GG, well played and a great performance by the red team. Well-deserved victory. Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.